Hi, this is Candace here. I initially wanted to post something in time for Valentine's Day, but that did not happen. I wanted to make a little bit of a video exploring the longest and most important relationship you will ever have in your life, the one with yourself. So I wrote some things down so I don't go too far off script. So I'm going to be having my eyes going aside a little bit just so I can reference that, but know that I am connected to you here. So your relationship with yourself affects every other relationship that you'll ever have. And in order for it to be healthy, you have to be present and connected to it. I'd like to talk about this from both a yogic and a psychological perspective. Part of the practice of yoga is the idea of becoming a witness, to see things as they are without choosing for or against any aspect of that reality. This means being present and holding space for all parts of yourself, even the ones we might categorize as bad or darker. Loving and celebrating our positive qualities is important, that's great. But if we completely deny and ignore our struggles and our darkness, we start to create a fracture in ourself. Then implying there is an implicit belief that we are not whole and that part of us is bad. This might cause us to feel devalued in some way or tainted, or we might try to shove these bad qualities completely out of sight, just so we don't even have to think about them or connect to them. This process can be done consciously or unconsciously. When these kinds of thoughts are repressed, our internal pressure increases, and thus has to come out some way. And one of the ways that happens is that it gets projected onto others. So we displace these qualities that we don't want into other people, and then it's a bit easier to see them and react to them, and because they're not on ourselves anymore. They're part of other people. This hurts us, and this hurts our connection to others too. The internal fracturing of the self spreads into the others around us. This can be a pretty lonely way to live. One of the definitions of yoga is to yoke or to unite, to have a union of opposites. Rather than seeing our struggles as holes in the perfect facade we have, what if we saw them as part of what makes us whole? I know it sounds like a pretty tall order. I know that. But yogic philosophy might be able to help. Like I mentioned and referenced a little bit earlier, there's an idea that in our practice, we want to connect to our ability to witness, to simply see and observe. It's the part of us that doesn't judge. The idea is that if we see these things without filter or curiosity, or categorization, and just with curiosity and equanimity, we might actually be able to make real change. When we enter the mindset of not seeing our emotions or thoughts as bad, and by extension, seeing ourselves as bad, we are more able to be present to them, their roots, their frequency, and how they affect our choices and actions. And when we are able to breathe into and sit with our multifaceted truth, it is only then that we can really make any conscious, meaningful change. We have to see it to shift it. We have to feel it first before we can heal it. When I think about our darkness and its function, I often envision a Moroccan lantern. This is what a Moroccan lantern looks like. Yoga posits that we have a light within us all of us do, and it's the same one, and that we see it in others. Our experiences, our heartbreak, our shadow, and our darkness are like the detailed, intricate, complex lantern and create beautiful patterns in the world. Once we can see our darkness and our feelings, we can harness them and use them to fuel our pursuits, to inspire new creations, and to connect more deeply with others who are struggling. It gives us more empathy and compassion. Both your darkness and your light are necessary. Our practice on the mat can help us see what these thoughts are and when they arrive, and give us space to practice mindfully observing them. A question: What could happen if you entertained the radical idea that you are whole and complete as you are right now? Pretty soon, some things might start to change, and those changes might ripple off of your mat into your everyday life, into how you see and interact with others, and how you approach the world. I wanted to share a poem by Rumi that goes even beyond just simply seeing and observing these things, but welcoming them. It's called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for what comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. And I'd just like to follow up that with sort of side point that this is not to say that we should wish this upon ourselves, to wish sorrow, to wish suffering, this unnecessary pain, but rather when it does come, to treat it as a way to go deeper into the self, to go deeper into understanding, because the other option just tears us apart. To start to mindfully and carefully honor ourselves and our emotions. Also keeping in mind too that if something does feel too intense, if there is some trauma or pain around it, it is a normal coping mechanism to pull away or to distance ourselves, especially if we don't have other strategies to mitigate and quell any difficult emotions. So knowing that sometimes we do disconnect, but the invitation and the practice that takes a long time sometimes is to go into these things. My name is Candace Stevens. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment or write to me. Take care.